Hi, my name is Shelby Short, and today I'm going to show you how to assemble your flute, disassemble your flute, and any maintenance that is required for your flute. This is our flute case. I also have a soft shell that goes around it, so it's nice and padded, fits inside of it. And first thing is first, you open up the case and make sure that usually, if it's thicker on bottom, wider on bottom, that's the bottom of the flute. You don't want to open the case wrong or your flute will fall out and it'll break. So first things first, you open the case. Here's our flute, as you can see. And we have our head joint. We have our body. And our foot joint. Three easy parts. First thing is first, you take your foot joint out of the case. Make sure you grab it by the bottom of the flute right here, because you don't want to grab the keys because it can bend the keys, it can really mess up the mechanism in playing. And then second is the body. You also want to grab where there's no keys. I grabbed right here and right here. Better places up here, you have a better hold. When putting the flute together, you don't want to do this because it will bend this. You want this to be a perfect circle. And if you bend it, it won't go on right. It'll be all wobbly. And so we put it together like this. You put it together, so you want to twist it on. You want to make sure that this bar is lined up in the middle of the keys. See? Next thing is we grab our head joint. This doesn't have any keys on it, so it doesn't matter as much. Grab the head joint, put it straight on, and you want to line this hole up with the keys. And the best way to do it is what I'm doing right now, is looking down the barrel and seeing if it lines up, and I think that lines up just about right. So now you can see how this bar right here lines all the way up, middle of the keys, to the circle of the head joint. Now I'm going to show you how to disassemble. This is your flute. And here's your case, your empty case. Make sure you put the flute together correctly or something could happen. You want to take the head joint off, make sure you grab from up here. I always like to rest it on my legs so it's not falling everywhere. And take the head joint, make sure you see where some of my case right here has a little bit of a lip where the lip plate goes. So you want to put that in correctly. Mine going to go sideways against the side. And then you twist off the head joint from the body. I like to put in my foot joint first. My foot joint goes in this way. You want to make sure it goes in correctly, and you don't have to force anything in. That's wrong. Don't force it. And then most of the time the body, make sure you watch your little A flat key because it will bend in the case. And as you can see here, I'm going to lay it in here. Usually goes on the inside, so it won't bend in the case. And that is how you disassemble a flute. Okay, I have a few things set out. I'm going to show you how to keep your maintenance up on your flute. So, first thing to do is to clean your flute, right? And as brass players always, they call it taking a bath, giving your instrument a bath. You don't want to do that with the flute because of the pads underneath the keys. They can fall off if they get wet. So, you have a cleaning rag and a polish rag. Polishing is after you get all the grime off. So first we're going to wipe it down, everything down with your rag. Rub off my gunk from my lip plate. And you also want to retune always, after you get done playing, clean off the parts that connect together, because they can get really dirty and it can scratch it up and really mess up your flute if it's not clean. If you really want to shine your flute, then you can get what I got from Flute World, is a polish rag. As you can see, my flute has been very dirty. And you just polish your flute with it. Make it shine. I also purchased this from Flute World. It is called a flute flag. And it's the same as getting a rod and a cloth and swabbing out your flute. So, swab out your flute. Make sure there's no condensation or wetness in your flute when you put your flute away, or it will, like I said, you don't want your pads to get wet, so just swab out all 3 pieces to the flute. Another thing, this is a cigarette paper. What this is after playing the flute for a while, your keys can get sticky. You can hear it sticking when it hits the metal. So you take this and you put it underneath the key between the flute and the keys, and you dab it. You don't want to press on the key and drag it out because it can tear up your keys, your pads. Another thing is the head joint has this cool little thing, this mysterious little thing on the end of the flute. And when you unscrew it and look inside, you can see a metal plate. When you look inside the flute, another metal plate. No idea what that is, right? So, what it is the main tuner to the flute. It can really mess up your flute if you don't have it in exactly right. And the way to check that is on the end of your rod, there's a little line. And when you stick this into your flute, the line should be in the middle of the hole of your lip, between your lip plate. That's how you know that it is in tune. If it's not, then you can have your director help you with that. But when you if it comes off or it's loose or whatever, when you put it back on, don't tighten it too much because it will move that cork. So just enough. And then your flute is clean and up to date.